Welcome everyone. The 2024 European Parliament elections will be held next week, in which the citizens of the European Union will decide which parties and representatives in their country will represent their country and the European politics in the European Parliament for the next 5 years. Like the domestic parliaments of European countries, the European Parliament also has political parties representing different interests and holding different views who make decisions for the European Union, whether it is about political, economic or social issues. The European Parliament elections are one of the largest democratic elections in the world, which take place with different systems for each country, and then the results of each country are combined and calculated to form the next composition of the European Parliament, which will represent the policy of the European Union for the next 5 years, both within the Union and in the wider world. My name is Alföld Mapping, and this is the next video of the Geopolitics and History with Alföld series, in which we will cover all the informations about the upcoming 2024 European parliamentary elections within the European Union. European Parliament elections are held every 5 years within the territory of the European Union. This year's election in 2024 will be the 10th European Parliament election in chronological order. The first was held 45 years ago in 1979. In addition, this will be the first European Parliament election in the history of the European Union in which the United Kingdom will no longer participate after the country left the European Union on January 31st, 2020. The elections take place within the Union over 4 days from June 6th to June 9th, as elections are held at different times in some countries. According to analysts and experts, this year's election will also be one of the most controversial in the history of the European Union. During the events of the last 5 years, certain changes have taken place regarding the European Parliament elections, while other rules have remained the same. In the 2019 European Parliament elections, 705 representatives could be elected to the European Parliament. In this year's elections, this number was increased to 720. The number of representatives a country can send to the European Parliament is determined by the size of the population of that country. The most populous EU country, Germany, can send 96 representatives, followed by France with 81 representatives, and the smallest EU member state, Malta, can send 6 representatives to the European Parliament. The entry threshold varies from country to country, but cannot exceed 5% anywhere. The European Parliament elections are conducted on the basis of the 1976 Electoral Act. The European Parliament elections are held at different times in some countries with different electoral systems. The election itself will last for 4 days. Elections will be held in the Netherlands on June 6th and in Ireland the next day, and in the Czech Republic on June 7th-8th. On June 8th, 3 EU countries, Malta, Latvia and Slovakia, will hold elections, followed by elections in Italy between June 8th and June 9th. The other EU countries will hold the European Parliament elections on the last day, June 9th. In most European countries, the voting age is 18 years, but in some countries there may be certain differences in this regard. In Greece, for example, the voting age is 17 years, while in 4 countries, Austria, Belgium, Germany and Malta, the voting age has been reduced to 16 years. In most European countries, citizens with the right to vote also have the right to decide whether they want to participate in the vote at all or not. However, there are some European Union countries where participation in European Parliament elections is mandatory for citizens of voting age. Currently, 3 countries, Belgium, Cyprus and Luxembourg, have compulsory voting, which means that people with Belgian, Cypriot or Luxembourg citizenship must participate in the European Parliament elections, and failure to participate can even result in a fine. In two countries, Bulgaria and Greece, voting is mandatory according to the law, but in practice this is not applied and there are no legal consequences for Bulgarian or Greek citizens who do not participate in the elections. There is also an age limit for running in the European Parliament elections, which in most countries is 18 or 21 years, but for example in Romania it is 23 years, while in Italy and Greece you can run from 25 years old. In most European Union countries, citizens vote in only one district, which essentially covers the territory of the entire country. However, there are also countries with several constituencies. For example, in Poland, there are no less than 13 constituencies. The lower and upper thresholds for entering the European Parliament vary within the respective countries, but the European Union stipulates that the minimum threshold cannot exceed 5%. The list system of the representatives of the parties running in the elections also varies in the European Union countries, where people vote for a closed list or for an open list or a semi-open list. Single transferable votes are used in Ireland and Malta. During the European Parliament elections, voters in each country vote for the parties running in the elections in that given country. However, the parties that enter the European Parliament continue the European Parliament's decision-making not in their own representation, but inside political groups. In the European Parliament, political groups are made up of parties with the same ideologies and interests. There are currently 7 political groups in the European Parliament. The largest political group is the European People's Party, followed by the Progressive Alliance of Socialists and Democrats and the Renew Europe political groups. In addition, there are separate political groups for other parties following green politics, serving minority interests, and also for more radical right-wing and left-wing parties. Political groups are established within the European Parliament by one or more European political parties. The group of the European People's Party, for example, was created by the European People's Party itself, while the Greens EFA alliance was created jointly by the Greens and the European Free Alliance, which represents the interests of European minorities. Representatives and parties of the European Parliament that do not belong to any political group are present in the European Parliament as independents. Few public opinion polls are usually conducted before the European Parliament elections. These researches are carried out by European polling aggregators in the territory of the European Union. On May 27, 2024, the organization Europe Elects published the results of the research it conducted. Nowadays, the European People's Party usually gets the most votes overall in Europe, and it looks like there will be no change this year either, as they will probably achieve a result of over 20%. The Socialists and Democrats are placed in second place, and the Left and the Greens will receive the fewest votes. The biggest competition will mostly be between Renew Europe and the two strongly right-wing and Eurosceptic political groups, the European Conservatives and Reformists, and Identity and Democracy. However, the results of the elections are not determined by public polls, but by the number of votes cast during the voting, and this is no different in the European Parliament elections. Only we, the citizens of one of the 27 member states of the European Union, can decide which representatives, parties and groups will represent us and our country in the European Union after this year's European Parliament elections. If you are a citizen of one of the countries of the European Union and, based on the laws of that country, you have reached the voting age for the European Parliament elections at the time when they are held, then it is definitely worthwhile and important to participate in the elections, since it is also up to us that what direction the European Union will take in the coming years and how the future of Europe will develop. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, click on the like button and subscribe to my channel so you won't miss out the channel's latest content. If you have any thoughts about the European parliamentary elections or you have questions, feel free to write down your opinion in the comment section below. Goodbye and see you soon in the next video.